right, if I could have everyone take a seat, we're ready to get started. Well, thank you all. I am excited. It is Friday, and it is officially the 43rd meeting of the year, or my last meeting as the current president of the Rotary Club of Park Cities. Woo, woo, woo. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm going to ring that bell. How about it? Then I'm really going to ring that bell at the end. I just want to take a minute and talk about last week's meeting. I know that we packed this room. It was absolutely so much fun. We were here honoring the past Grand Marshal, several, as many as could be here, Grand Marshals of our July 4th parade. And again, I just have to do hats off to Philip and Sarah and Mary and Jeff Brady did a lovely job as our MC, but it was the room was just full of energy. We make a real difference with that parade each year, and because we all work it, we all own it. We'll hear a little bit more about that later when Paul is up here. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we don't need to go on and on about how crazy it's been this past year, but yeah, it's been crazy. But I want to thank each and every one of you, first of all, for staying connected with each other, and secondly, for staying committed to what Rotary is about, which is service. And we really did. We made a difference in a year that a lot of people needed help. So for that, I applaud each of you. Thank you so much. We have grown by 18 members this year, which is pretty astounding when we could not be in person, which now puts us at, there's one here, Daniel, now puts us at the 148 members strong and the largest club in District 5810. So that's worth an applause. So let's start out. I know we've got lots of folks with June birthdays. You'll be recognized here on the slide, just as a reminder to make your donation to the RCPC Foundation. And we'll start with some introductions. I've got past President Richard is going to help me out. And since you're on this side of the room, Richard, if you'd stand if you've got a guest with you today and make a real quick, short introduction. Anybody over here? All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Check, 1, 2. Test. 1, 2. Okay. You'd think I'd know how to work this.
One
would think. I'd like to introduce my guest today, my daughter, Savannah Brady. She's a rising freshman at the high school, and she's very excited about our guest speaker today.
All right, Brady. Thank you. Stan has a guest.
I've got a returning guest. It was Van Oliver. He came. I introduced him a couple of weeks ago. When he came, he said, "This club is awesome. I want to join." So he's already gone through his interview and everything. So he's ready to go to badge.
All right.
So Van Oliver.
Glad you're back. Oh, as and Orville.
I'd like for you to meet a friend of mine of many years and an associate, Wes Quant.
Les, welcome.
I'm excited to see a lot of my favorite people here. My favorite Maryland's here today, so it's a really good day. I have two guests today that I'm excited about. We have Dr. Lawrence Cottle. He is a retired chiropractor. He's an active member of the Highland Park Choir, so he has lots of buddies in the room, so hope he decides to join. Welcome, Dr. Cottle.
Welcome. Hope to see you back.
I'm also thrilled to have Bobby Quick here today. Have y'all eaten at El Braco?
Yes.
Her son is the owner and chef.
Oh, nice.
So Bobby and Paul are going to be joining our club on July 1st, and so they are members of the Dallas Uptown Club. So they're longtime Rotarians. They moved here from San Diego. They were involved in the San Diego Rotary Club. I'm really thrilled that she's here. She's got lots of ideas. She's also been involved with the National Charity League. She does lots of great stuff. So we're really fortunate to have her.
We are happy. We'll be seeing lots more of you every week.
Thanks, Richard. Start up. So I've got Blaine Fielder with me today. Blaine is a intern this summer on our team at Blue Crest. He's did some work at SMU, and he's been attending University of North Texas. He stays with us for another 3 weeks, and he actually goes to the London School of Economics to do some work. And then he comes back in the fall, and he's going up to D.C. to intern at Congress, and will hopefully give us a scoop on what's going on up there in the swamp. So
That's great.
And Blaine, we were talking outside. His grandfather and his uncle were both Rotarians in Oklahoma.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
hopefully one day.
Well, it's in your blood.
Please help me welcome Captain Chris Gibson with the Salvation Army Dallas Adult Rehabilitation Center. He's our newest member, actually, and we're going to introduce him at another meeting here. And him and his wife, Cheryl, have been at the ARC for, we're almost on your anniversary now. So welcome to the club.
Welcome. That's great. Richard, my husband right here.
Me.
I'll do
Yeah,
it.
okay.
I've been married to this guy for a long 41 years in July. This is Kevin Jeffries, and with him is our two daughters, Kelly and Lindsay. Kevin is a long time, 42 years with AT&T, and recently retired, and spent a nice long career as a coworker with CYNT. And then next to him is my daughter Kelly. She is the middle of three daughters, very shy. She's spent 15 years with Nordstrom and is a store manager up in Frisco at the Nordstrom rack. So if you feel like you need to go shopping, she'll sell you some clothes, let me tell you. And then next to her is Lindsay. She is Lindsay Moonahan. She has lives in Georgia, came into town today for today's meeting. We have Lindsay to thank for CYNT being our guest speaker today. Lindsay listened to her on a podcast, How I Built This, was inspired, sent her an email, and it wasn't 3 hours later, CYNT replied. So Lindsay's career is in HR at Easy Go Golf Course in Augusta, Georgia. So 2 of the 3 made it. All right. And our oldest daughter is teaching school right now in New York. She's a theater teacher in high school. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Eric, if you would join me here at the podium, we're going to start with the invocation, the pledge, and the national anthem. So please stand.
Thank you, President Barb, and welcome to all our guests here today. I'd like to start off and wish everyone here a happy Father's Day, and those looking on today. My dad, who's 85, he had a simple but powerful statement, I think, and that is, at the end of the day, all you really have is your faith, your family, and your friends. And so I'd like to, a couple joys and concerns, and then I'll allow you guys to raise your hands there. E.G., we still need to extend our prayers for him as he battles cancer, and please keep him in your prayers and his family. And Ann Harper and Nick are celebrating their 55th anniversary. Is Ann here today? No? Well, happy anniversary. That's awesome. Please join me and bow your heads. Thank you, Lord, for showing us that love has no boundaries or end, but listens, has patience, compassion, grace, and gives without counting cost. Thank you for granting us a heart for those you love and a willingness to step out in faith and service. Thank you, Lord, for showing us true love can be ours, to know and give. Amen. Does anyone, I'm sorry, I skipped over the last part of joys and concerns. Does anyone else have? Mark. Good, great. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Mark. And we'll keep your friend in our prayers. Thank you. Anybody else? Janie. We'll keep his family in our prayers. Anyone else? All right, if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and followed by the National Anthem. I pledge allegiance
Thank you, Eric. And again, we thank Ian for that beautiful rendition. So, Nolan and Shawn, if I could have both of you come up, let's start with Shawn's right here. We're going to talk about our marketplace advertisers. We're going to highlight 2 today.
For our guest, we have a group of advertisers on the hub, and that's who we're going to highlight right now. And the first one is standing behind me, and it's Nolan Duck. He joined the club in 2006. He's been a Rotarian for 30 years. He's a multiple Paul Harris Fellow, and he's married to Nancy. He's got 2 grown children that are married and 4 grandkids. Now, about the business, he founded DBG Advisors, which is an M&A advisory and business brokerage firm. He focuses on helping owners determine, build, and get full value of their business. He provides guidance to business owners who are looking to increase the value of their business to ensure a lucrative exit. His goal is to help owners to prepare to sell if someone comes calling. His firm guides business owners through both the exit planning process and the sale of their company. Now, he recently became a certified exit planning advisor, and he's actually written a book, and he brought a copy of that book if anybody wants it today. It says, "Are you ready to sell your business?" which addresses 10 critical issues every business owner must face to get their business on the right path for a lucrative exit. If anyone would like I said, if you want to get a copy of that, you can give him a call here or pick it up today. So let's give Nolan a round of applause.
That's the book, and it's right over there. Just pick one up. I just brought a few for everybody if you'd like to pick one up. Well, we all like to do business with people that we know and like, and also trust. And the people in this room are people that we have learned to know and like and trust. With service above self as our motto, and really what draws us all together, we know that everybody in this room is someone that we can refer to business to if we have that opportunity. This isn't an exception. Shawn is a great financial advisor. I met his father, Larry, in an elevator when I first moved to Dallas and got to know him. Larry's wonderful. And then I met Joe and Shawn, and they're great too. They have a family business, Foster Financial, and they work with their clients to help them build value in their lives first by following the golden rule, and then also help them build their financial wealth through the work that they do for their clients. So you'll want to to know SHAWN and the whole family at Foster Financial. They're great people, and they exemplify service above self by going to prisons and working with the Bill Glass ministry to minister to those prisoners regularly. And I'm just so in awe of that family and all that they do, and I know that you will want to express your appreciation for him in his support of the Hub and in advertising. So let's give him a round of applause as well.
Well, that was the Nolan and Shawn show. Did a nice job. I'm sure they're available for hire. Yes, you do. Karen Farris. We're going to spend quite a bit of time today, in the next few minutes anyway, talking about the RCPC Foundation. Karen's going to kick that off, and then we've got some awards to make.
Thank you, Barb. You know, in a few minutes, Kyle and Barb are going to present some Frank Monroe medallions to some people who have very generously supported the foundation this past year. But before we do that, I want to maybe provide a little context. This club has so many feel-good moments. I agree with you, Barb. Last week was just one of those. Philip, you continue to absolutely hit it out of the ballpark every time up at bat. Thank you for one of those feel-good moments. Another one, I think, would imagine for most of us, was the picnic down at Bonton. How many were there? A good number of you. Was that not a feel-good moment? Were you not just blown away by what Stephanie and Darren have created and the vision that they had for putting together a clinic in the middle of Bonton to serve an area that is definitely a medical desert? And this all started in this room. Remember, that's where they met. So good things happen at a Rotary Club for sure. Feel good moment. Another proud moment for this club was when we first saw the North Texas Food Bank mobile food pantry. And Tricia, I continue to apologize, but we call that Stan's truck here. So little context with our logo on the side. A project that began with a vision to support them in their desire to have a mobile food pantry to be able to transport fresh produce and to underserved communities. And I was absolutely astounded when you gave the numbers that you gave last week about the volunteer hours from this club and the financial support that provided funding for over 2 million meals. That is absolutely amazing. You know, but before these two projects, there was a really big project back in right around 2000, and it was Child's Play at Bachman Lake. Doug Means, Carl Von B. You really provided the model for this club to be able to do projects like that. Because you did it, we believed we could do it when it came time to do the truck. So kudos to you guys. Recently you heard Eric HEITKAMP talk about our next major project for the club, and that's the Salvation Army. This is a long title. So Dallas ARC Leisure Time Activities Project, okay? Basically what we're going to do is we're going to help to repair and update that courtyard. And Sin, you can see that there's a basketball court there. We may have to tap into the Mavericks' expertise on basketball courts because we don't know anything about them. Okay. So anyways, this is just, you know, a basketball court is not really in our wheelhouse. This project is just starting, so hang on to that. We'll be providing more next year. But you know, in addition to big projects, we've also done funding for a lot of smaller organizations. And a lot of the logos are up there, and we'd love to be able to do more of them. All of these are great organizations. Now, I don't want anybody to come away from the meeting today thinking we did this all on our own. We've had some great partners. Number one in that partnership is CFT. Amazing what these people do. They do our legal, they do our tax and investments, and I got to brag on them on the investments. Last year, they absolutely raised over $400,000 of investment income our fund. Isn't that pretty good? Very, very good. In addition to CFT, we also have to thank Texas Capital Bank and different foundations from our members that you're employed with. AT&T Corporation, thanks probably more to Kevin than to Barb. Sorry, Barb. Helped us with one of our projects. Encore has helped us many times. Atmos Energy, Vista Bank, and our HSB. It just seems like money attracts money, and people get excited when they see some of the projects we're doing and want to help in. So now why am I telling you all this today? You know, it's really where we go from here. Our current fund balance is $1.8 million. I feel strongly that we are stewards of that money. It's been built over a number of years by those who have gone before us. During the past year, our executive committee and in one of our spare moments asked the big question, what if we had more? What if 1.8 was 2 million? And then we got real crazy. What if it was 2.5 million? Think of all the projects that we could do and what we could do. So today, I'm going to ask that you help us celebrate the generosity of the people who are going to be recognized later. And if it's slipped by you this year and you haven't made your contribution yet to the foundation, I'm sure Kyle would take your check. You can go online and you can make a donation in that way as well. And that's the traditional way we've grown, by those kinds of donations. But next year we've got a few new ideas. We'll be coming to you with that next year because we want to grow that and make more impact in the community. So thank you to all.
Thank you, Karen, but particularly thank you, each and every one of you, because I know that you feel a great sense of ownership to the RCPC Foundation. Kyle, as our Sergeant at Arms this year, is the one who gets the money, and he gets to now honor those who have reached milestones in their contributions. Because we were not able to meet in person over almost the last year and a half, we are catching up on acknowledging those of you who have reached your Frank Monroe Fellow milestone. Karen mentioned those who came before us, and Frank Monroe was definitely a pillar of the Rotary Club. His name was Dr. Frank Monroe. He joined the club in 1961. He had 35 years of perfect attendance. He was a past president, a past district governor, and one of the originators of our foundation. So in honor of Dr. Frank Monroe, I'd like to now turn and honor each of you. So those, if you would come up to the table that achieve the bronze level, which is a contribution level of $750,000, or no, $750. Oh my goodness, see what Karen FARRIS does? She just adds zeros. Okay, and we're going to try to get, I really want to recognize y'all, but I want to get through this quickly because we want to hear from CYNT. Daniel Drabinski, please come forward. Sean Foster, Roger Friedline, Marilyn Hargrave, Catherine Jodry, Mark Kasher, John Whaley. So what we may do, let's stand down here real quick, and we'll do, those of you that are here, Philip will take a quick picture, and then the others will start walking up here. So those reached the milestone of $750. The next one is silver, and that is $1,500. Fred Brown, if you're here, start walking forward. Eric HEITKAMP, Jeff McNaughton, Greg Pape, Robert Patton, who although Patsy Watson and Larry Johnson. And Larry graciously said, I don't want a medallion, but he reached the milestone. So, great. Okay, next is the next group. All right, the gold group, $2,250. We've got Pam Carvey, Karen FARRIS, thank you Karen, Tracy Gomes, I saw him, myself, Robert Levy, Jody Ray, Bill Sleeper, Carl von Bieberstein, Richard Stanford, and past President Lee Wagner. There you go. See what a couple years will do? So if this last group will stand over here, we'll take one last quick picture and we'll move on. All right, I'll pop in the picture. Hold on. I was going to do this so fast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you too have a medallion in your future. $250,000 is all you have to give. Okay. Cleve Clinton. Okay. I'm sorry, I missed it, Daniel. Thank you to Cleve Clinton for his service. Okay. Did I miss him? Was he supposed to be on the list? Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. He created, and yes, very good. Okay. We've got 2 new members to introduce. We're going to get through these. If Kyle and Natalie would come forward, in addition to Happy, President-elect Happy, and Evan ALTEMUS. We've got a couple of folders to hand you. Come up. Natalie. And is Evan, there he is. Very good. Evan. So, what they're receiving is their folder, and it has new member information. You can come forward. Thank you, guys. And we'll take a quick picture here of Evan and Happy. And the steps that they will go through to go from their red badge to their blue badge. There's about 7 or 8 things to do. They'll blow through them.
I'm thrilled to introduce Evan ALTEMUS. He is a longtime Rotarian. He actually joined Rotary in Houston. When he moved here, it was during COVID, and so he didn't have a chance to really check out a lot of clubs. And so he joined Plano West, and then he got a job in downtown Dallas. And so our club is a lot more convenient for him. He checked out a lot of clubs. He really liked our club. We're really thrilled to have him. He has a lot of great energy. And I'm particularly excited because he's going to be in the veterans team. So we're going to have a great veterans project this year. And he has a lot of great experience and ideas for that from his past experience. So I'm very excited to have Evan. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
I just wanted to say I look forward to being part of the club, trying to help with the Veterans Initiative, meeting everyone. I live in Plano but work in Uptown, so I work in commercial real estate. I was in the Navy before that for 6 years, so I'm excited.
If I had a hat, I would put on a different hat. So now I'm here to talk to you about our socials. I see a few in here have not yet signed up for our installation. It's not too late to do that. If you'll just go online and register for the installation, we're going to have some great food. We're going to have some great entertainment. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's next Friday at the Park City Club from 11:30 to 1. We're going to have the installation, we're going to have awards, and we're going to have the district governor's visit. So it's going to be a really action-packed, fun meeting. Did I mention great entertainment too? So it's going to be fun. This Sunday, we have our Italian dinner, our 4-course Italian dinner at that you're going to learn how to cook and enjoy an amazing meal. All you can eat, all you can drink, wine, and limoncello. It's going to be amazing. It's not too late to sign up for that. On Saturday, June 26th, we get to go to the Butterfly Garden. Please sign up online for that. The tickets are super reasonable. I'd love for you to bring guests. We'd like to have a really big crowd. Thank you.
Thank you, President-elect Happy. Appreciate that. And sorry, Kyle and Natalie, somehow we didn't pass that baton very well. Natalie, we do new member speeches, and so we'll make sure we get you behind this, up at this podium pretty quickly to tell you all about you. All right. Last, we have Paul Pyrock. He's going to talk about the most important thing coming up in 2 weeks.
So Karen talked about a feel-good moment. There's nothing that's a better feel-good moment than the 4th of July parade to be held on the 3rd. Remember that. The 4th is a Sunday. No parades on Sunday. This is the club's signature event benefiting the North Texas Food Bank. We're so excited about it. Just one issue. Not enough of y'all have signed up for this thing to come off. So please, 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 if you're in town, we need you there on Saturday, July 3rd. I conveniently placed a sign-up sheet on every one of the tables. So you don't even have to go to the website and sign in. All you need to do is pick up a pen and put it on the line on that piece of paper on your table. Please, please, please sign up if you already haven't. And thank you very much to the people that have already been working on it. Philip and Jill and Sarah and Stan have already put in a ton of hours on this. And it's gonna be great. It's going to be 10 degrees cooler that day, I promise. But if you're going to walk 2 miles, we really need you to be a walking marshal. We've had Bank of America help us in the past. They're not allowed to do that this year, so we really need to fill in that gap. And if you feel more comfortable standing still, we definitely need some standing people on the key corners. So please, please, please sign up if you're going to be in town, and I will put you down on the website. A couple other things. If you don't have your shirt yet, your Rotary shirt, your Rotary hat, you can pick them up on Wednesdays at the office. Laurie will be there. For new members, no charge for the shirt or hat. It was included in your initiation fee. If you love that blue shirt so much, or you love that hat so much, we have additional items for sale. $25 for the hat, $40 for the shirt. And so please go to the office on Wednesday or after the meeting on Friday and pick them up. Last thing, we really want to get the word out via social media. How many of y'all are on Facebook? Just about everybody. So there are a couple different places you can find the parade on Facebook. There's a specific page. There's also a page within underneath our Facebook page. Please share those. Get that out as much as you can. And there's also there's a post on the Facebook page that has the QR code so that you can QR code so you can give money directly to the North Texas Food Bank. Please go online, share that page so that people that can't be at the parade on the Saturday the 3rd will still make a donation to the North Texas Food Bank. So please, please, please share that Facebook page. And looking forward to seeing all of y'all bright and shiny on the morning of the 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. It's a lot of work, but it takes a team and it takes a village, and we know we can do it. Thank you, guys. Well, it's time. I get to introduce today's speaker. It is definitely my honor and certainly my pleasure to introduce the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, CYNT Marshall. You've all received her bio. It's in the hub that Betty produces. The list of accomplishments are long and well-deserved. Certainly not going to read those to you. But I do want to just share a few things that Kevin shared with me about the career he spent working with CYNT. Over time, she's definitely a woman of very deep faith, a believer that everyone has a story that deserves to be heard, someone who has seen and lived through some difficult times, but has always faced forward and overcome. She's an inspiration for everyone who aspires to live a life of grace. Rotarians and guests, let's give a warm welcome to CYNT Marshall, please.
Okay, get up, everybody. Get up. I grew up in a Pentecostal church, and so we made a lot of noise where I grew up. Now, don't get nervous. I'm going to let you out before midnight, okay? But we went long, and we made a lot of noise, and we had a lot of friends. So I just need you to look at your table right now and just smile. Get to know the people at your table, because we're going to be doing some table exercises as I kind of tell you my story and the MAV story, okay? President Barb, you are absolutely amazing. Let's give it up for President Barb. Yes, yes. And Kevin, my buddy. Oh my gosh, we have been together for years. I love you, and you know I love you. And I tell a story a lot. I talk about Kevin a lot when I talk about diversity and inclusion, and I'll do it today, but he didn't know that. And so when I get to the part where I talk about him, I can actually call his name now. And I can tell that story right in front of him. So you will hear a little bit more about it. Thank you so much for your love, for your friendship. You were a wonderful colleague, but an even better friend. And it's so good to be here with you, with Barb, with Lindsay, with Kelly. Lindsay, thank you for reaching out. First of all, thank you for listening to the podcast. You never know if anybody's even listening to that stuff. And I just hadn't even, I didn't really know about the podcast until they asked me to be on it. And then after I was on it and all these people started calling me, I'm like, that's pretty good. I'm glad I did it. I'm so glad I did it. So let's give it up for the Jeffries family. These are some amazing, amazing, amazing people. Okay, so I don't have long because we want to do some exercises. And the title of what I want to talk about today is Shall We Dance? Look at somebody and ask them, shall we dance? Now, y'all got to talk to each other. I told y'all I grew up in a noisy, noisy, noisy place, okay? And so what I want to talk about is diversity and inclusion, and truly my life is one of inclusion. My life is one of inclusion of a lot of people who don't even look like me. So before I get into it, next slide, I want to acknowledge, let's see, who's running the slides here? I want to acknowledge all of our essential workers. Do we have any essential workers that are here? Any healthcare providers? Any people who are just making it happen? Let's acknowledge. Thank you. Thank you for what you have been doing. Thank you for what you have been doing over the past 16 months. At the Mavs, we are making it a point. We dedicated our whole last season to essential workers to just say thank you for the service. And I know this organization is all about service. So I already told you I have a few ground rules. My ground rules are you just have to relax. You have to smile at the people at your table. It's so good to see my friend. And it's so good to see you. Thanks for being here. And thank you for coming to see me. Oh, my goodness. What's your name again? Savannah, we got a little gift for you. And Blaine, see these young people. I love these young people. Okay, we have gifts. Candace and Kennedy. Candace Hicks-Coleman in the back is my chief of staff. And Kennedy Pitts is our intern going into her last year of college. So just let's give it up for all these interns. I love these young people. I love these young people. Okay, so education matters, zip code doesn't. Let me tell you just very quickly a little bit about my story. You see me now as the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, and I have a big job. I have a high-profile job. After this week, I'm about ready to go into the witness protection program, okay? And we will talk about that too, okay? It's been like quite a week. I was on the phone with my boss for an hour this morning. I'm like, wow, man, like, you got jokes, okay? Like, this has been a crazy week, and I'll talk about that too. But that's what you see right now. What you didn't see was me growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area in a public housing project. My parents moved from Birmingham, Alabama. If you know anything about your civil rights history, you know there was a church in Birmingham, Alabama, the 16th Street Baptist Church, that was bombed in 1963 when 4 little girls lost their lives. That was my mother's church. And so my mother left that church 3 years prior to that incident when I was 3 months old because she did not want her 4 kids at the time, there are 6 of us now, growing up in the Jim Crow segregated South. She saw a lot, she experienced a lot, and my dad had a sister in the San Francisco Bay Area, and so they decided to go to California. And we landed in the Easter Hill public housing projects. You can imagine what goes on in a public housing project, especially many, many years ago. When I was 11 years old, I saw my father shoot a man in the head. And fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but it was in self-defense. And it was in self-defense because all this commotion broke out at the front door one day, and my mother pushed all of her 6 kids in the back room. And believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe, but I was actually a quiet kid. I know, Kevin, you don't believe that, okay? I was a quiet kid. And I was a kid that all I wanted to do was sit in my math books, and I just wanted to study. My mother put 2 books in my hand at an early age. She put a math book in one hand and a Bible in the other, and told me if I kept my head in these 2 books, I would make it out. Now, I didn't know what out was at the time, but it was out of poverty. It was out of the ghetto. It was out of some bad stuff that was happening in our neighborhood. But I didn't know that at the time because my mother kept us laser focused on education, activities, and church. And so this one particular day, I was 11 years old, my mother shoved us all in the back room, and something broke out at the front door. And I put my little math book down and decided my mother left a crack in the door. Why did she do that? I kind of eased my way to the front door, and that's when I saw a young man pointing a silver pistol down to my father's right side where I was standing. My father shot back in self-defense. Obviously, something was happening at the front door. My father shot back in self-defense. He didn't know that I wasn't in the room. He didn't know that I was standing on his right side and had sneaked out of that back room until the young man pointed the pistol down on his side. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but you can imagine all the chaos that broke out in our neighborhood. And so we had, all 6 of us kids, we had to be sequestered in the house for safety purposes. But I cried because I wanted to go to school, because I knew school was my refuge. It was just where I could be free. It was where I could feel safe. And so my mom did what all mamas do. How many mamas do we have in the house? Okay? My mama did what all mamas do. She figured out a way to respond to her kid who was crying because I was so sad because I couldn't go to school. So what did she do? She got a uniformed police officer to take me to school. Officer Darrell Prater, I love him. He spent the rest of that year, I was 11 years old in the 7th grade, and he would show up to my house in his police car, and he would either ride the bus with me or he would put me in his car. And every now and then I tell him, like, turn the sirens on. Okay, turn the sirens on. And so, I have detail now with the Mavs, and they're trying to explain it to me and tell me to get used to it. I said I had Secret Service when I was 11 years old, okay? I'm used to this. I wasn't ashamed by it. I wasn't embarrassed by it. I was so happy that I could go to school. And he did exactly, which is why I'm telling you, I have a love for law enforcement. I know we got some stuff that goes on in this country, but Officer Prater did exactly what was written on his car. It said to protect and to serve. And he spent a year of his life protecting me, serving me, and doing that for my family. So fast forward, 4 years later, my parents got a divorce. It was an ugly, violent divorce. It was bloody. My father, we were all the victims of domestic violence. And so we had to flee our house one summer. It was the summer of 1975. And my mother's prayer was that we would make it back home before school started, because there's a theme. Education was everything. So she prayed, and we had this crazy summer where my father had broken my nose and just all kind of stuff was going on. But we made it back. And we made it back to our 4-bedroom deluxe unit in the projects. Everything was gone except one mattress. And I can still hear my mother's words. Because, at this point, it's 3 of us still at home, and you got these teenagers, and how teenagers can get, and we're looking for our trophies where we ran track and all that. And my mother says, all I want is peace of mind. She said, everybody be quiet. And it was quiet, just like it is right now. She said, all I want is peace of mind. God will provide. And she was right. He took care of us. I went back to school with a brace on my nose. I was head cheerleader that year. And I had 3 teachers and a principal embrace me. I come back with a big brace on my nose. I'm head cheerleader. I'm cheerleading. My mother said, go. Just act like nothing happened. Just go. So I'm head cheerleader. I got this big silver brace on my nose, and I'm doing my thing. Well, that kind of gets people's attention. And so my 3 teachers, and I had the pleasure of honoring one of them 2 weeks ago. They embraced me, and the rest is history. I stand here today because 3 teachers and a principal embraced my mother and literally saved my life. None of them looked like me. They included me in everything. They exposed me to things I didn't even know existed. So I stand here, and then I ended up going to the University of California at Berkeley, not because it's the #1 public institution in the world, okay? But because it was 20 minutes away from home, and I stood on that campus, and the rest is history. I had 13 job offers coming out of college, and Kevin, I chose the phone company, and I'm glad I did, just like you did. So that's who stands here before you. So when I look in the mirror, I don't see the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks. I see that poor little black girl who was raised in a public housing project, who had the village, literally the village of everybody that looked like everybody, include me in their lives, and that's my journey. So this diversity and inclusion and equity thing has been part of my life for a long time, because I am the result of people who cared about that before it was even fashionable. People like the Rotary Club, who gave us literally funded our track uniforms and our whole track experience when I was growing up. I have pictures standing with all these white people at the Rotary Club giving us our uniforms saying, go make us proud, Richmond Half-Steppers, okay? Because they were all about serving us. And so that's who stands here before you. I ended up coming out of college. Next slide. I had a great career, 36 years at AT&T, 13,088 days. Kevin, did you count your days? I had to count. You know, I wanted to be a math teacher growing up, okay? So I'm a math geek. So I counted my days. 13,088 days with the company. And that's where I met Kevin. It was a great, great experience. Next slide. I have 4 children now. I will tell you I have a husband too to go with those 4 kids. And when I was in college, so I knew it was big. Okay, when I was in college, my first week in college, my boyfriend called me because he was 3 hours away from me and said he had transferred schools so he could be near me. Isn't that precious? I know. That's my first week in college, and I told him I'd call him when I graduated. I said, I'll call you when I graduate because I don't have time for some smooth-talking cutie who wants to play when I need to study. Okay, I knew it was a big deal for me to be on Berkeley's campus. I got like 5 full scholarships to the college of my choice. I knew this was big. People told me to dream big, and those are 4 words that I live by: dream, focus, pray, and act. They told me to dream big. They told me to focus, make the best of my education. So he called me, and I said, I'll call you when I graduate. And so 4 years later, when I graduated, I called him. And I said, hey, Kenny, this is CYNT. He said, CYNT who? I mean, he tried to act like he didn't know who I was. And I said, I'm so excited. I'm graduating. I'm going to start work for the phone company. My mom's still in the projects. I'm going to help her get out. Oh, I was just going on and on and on. And he said, who is this? I said, this is CYNT. And I said, you got to come to the party. It's at 6 o'clock. I mean, I knew my whole life was changing. And he said he was engaged. And he said he couldn't come to the party. Beyonce has a song that says, if you like it, then you ought to put a ring on it. I've been married to that boy 38 years, okay? 38 years. I'm right behind you, okay? He came to the party, and he is awesome. I was trying to get him to come here today because I always tell him, he said he hates that story because it's true. I tell him he was that close to missing his blessing, okay? Trying to get away. But he came to the party, and we are blessed to have adopted 4 wonderful children. 4 wonderful children. You just never know how the Lord's going to make your family. We had, thank you. We had 4 second trimester miscarriages, a daughter who died at 6 months old. My husband got brain damage. They said he'd never walk and talk again. But see, I'm a woman of faith. And sometimes you know the Lord has a plan. And he had a plan for us to snatch these 4 out of foster care, out of some horrible abandoned and abuse, neglect situations. In fact, my son found both of his sisters on television. One was a Wednesday's child in San Francisco, and one was a Friday's child in North Carolina. In fact, when we moved that boy to college, I said, give me the remote control. I got enough now, I got enough. So I am blessed. They are crystal balls to me, and I talk about crystal balls and rubber balls. Crystals are the things that if you can't drop them, they shatter, they never come back. Rubber balls bounce back. And so my babies are crystal. Next slide. So I have my great career. I'm raising my family. I retire. My kids are AT&T kids. I retire, and then all of a sudden, after I retired, I get this call one day from Mark Cuban, February 21st, 2018. And I remember the day because it was the day the Reverend Dr. Billy Graham passed away. But it was also the day these teenagers were protesting in Parkland, Florida. And Kevin, I remember that day because I got up and I wrote a blog post called Impact. Because I'm watching these teenagers impact the world, but I'm also thinking about this 99-year-old preacher who I grew up with who impacted my life. And it just so happened that age-wise, I was smack dab in the middle. And I said, okay, I just retired, started my own company. What am I going to do? What's the impact that I am going to have on the world? Lord, what is the next chapter really about? What do you want me to do? We were going to move back to North Carolina, and then through a series of circumstances, we decided not to. And a week later, February 21st is when I got the call from Mark Cuban. In fact, I got a text and then I got the call, and I have to tell you, I didn't know who he was. And people laugh and they're like, how did you not know who he was? I said, well, he didn't know who I was, okay? Because he's living his life, I'm living my life. And Kevin, you know how it is. It's like we're working, okay? I don't have time to be watching TV and Shark Tank and all that. Like, I don't know who this is. I had on Golden State Warrior sweats and Steph Curry socks when he called me. That is the truth, okay? Because I'm just go Bay Area girl, okay? I'm diehard. Trust me, I don't have it anymore. I'm all Mavs, through and through. My whole family is. My kids made us do this whole unboxing ceremony. You know, the kids have you on Instagram doing all this stuff. And so we had to get rid of all of our Warrior stuff and unbox all of our Mavs stuff. So when Mark called me, he told me he had something going on, so I went to see him. And after he talked to me, I said, I need to pray about it. And then 2 women stopped me as I was leaving his office and asked me if I would come and help really do what Mark asked me to do. And his mandate was to transform the culture. So I took everything that I learned at AT&T and everything I had learned in my life and said, okay, here's what we're going to do. So here was my recipe. Go to the next slide. We laid out a vision. And the vision said we would set the standard for diversity and inclusion, because I know that's the story of my life and what happens when we all come together. We laid out a set of values that spell crafts: character, respect, authenticity, fairness, teamwork, and safety. That's what we are about, both physical and emotional safety. We focus a lot on fairness, so gender pay equity was a big thing for us. Kevin, you taught us that. You taught us that. This is a man here who kept that in front of AT&T. How to treat women, how to take care of women, how to include them, how to get them at the table. If you wanted a diverse organization, if you wanted to see inclusion, you go to Kevin Jeffries' organization. He got to the point where we had him in this Men Advocating Real Change. He was leading it for the company to help show everybody else how to embrace women, how to embrace people of color. And I had to ask him one day in a big meeting. I said, Kevin, I just need to know, okay, white man, I need to know, how did you get like this? How did you get to the point where it's just like a no-brainer for you to have women at the table and to embrace them and to know what to do? And the same with people of color. I just need to know. And Kevin sat there and he talked to a room full, it was primarily men, on just his experience and how to do it. And he helped to lay out the model for the company about how men really advocate real change for women. Kevin, I tell that story all the time. Now I get to tell it in front of you. Thank you for being a role model of diversity and inclusion. Now I see why. Now I see why. Okay, so teamwork. That was a value of ours. I'm going to have you stand up because I want to talk a little bit about teamwork. You'll see a slide next, and it's a slide of me in my sorority in college, and I'm up there somewhere. I'm the one with the big afro, okay? And I learned, we used to sing a song in college. I was 19 years old, and we had these things. I was in a sorority, Delta Gamma, and we had a thing called Vespers. And so every Monday night, we'd have Vespers, and then we would sing this song, No Man is an Island. And I thought, at 19, I thought, this is some of the corniest stuff I have ever heard, okay? And so we would sing, and they said, everybody start singing. And I still remember the words, and I'm 61 years old now. It said, no man is an island, no man stands alone. Each man's joy is joy to me. Each man's grief is my own. We need one another, so I will defend. Each man as my brother, each man as my friend. I thought that was some of the craziest stuff back then, but now I know that no man is an island, no woman is an island. And if we learn nothing else, we have to depend on each other, we have to include each other, and we have to be able to count on each other. So I'm going to put my little theme song on, and I want you to go and find 5 people. You want to hug them? Hug them. I'm an embrace person. This COVID thing just about wiped me out because, like, I'm a hugger, I'm a kisser, these masks, all that. I'm like, Lord, you got to, like, do something with this COVID demon because I got to be able to get out and embrace people. I need you to go to 5 people and tell them, you can count on me. No man is an island. Go tell them, you can count on me. No man is an island. has embraced me. Kevin, they might not be as tight as I am with you, but I'm tight with them, though. But I'm tight with them. And so I'm going to miss them. I mean, I'm going to miss them. But I promise you, all you season ticket holders, all you Mavs fans for life, we're going to build on their legacy, and it is going to be fabulous. We'll keep diversity and inclusion in mind. Who knows, like, what we'll do. Somebody asked me earlier, are we going to have a female coach? I said, I don't know, but we're going to have we have a process where we include everybody, and then we're going to pick the most qualified person for the job. So, stand up. I'm going to close with this. Stand up. Okay, so diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. Now, we got some prizes, okay? So we're going to be watching. We're going to be watching the table. We got some prizes, okay, for the best dancers. How many of you consider yourself to be good dancers? Okay, well, let's see here, okay? So if diversity is being invited to the party, we're all here at this party. We're all at Maggiano's. President Barb has done an amazing job bringing us all together. Thank you, Lindsay. She brought us together, okay? But you're not going to feel included if you can't do this dance that everybody knows how to do, okay? And so I got some people up here who are going to help you learn to do this dance. Okay, this is for everybody. And all we're going to do, we're going to go 4 times to the right and then 4 times to the left. And then we're going to kick. So get ready. Kick dance. Don't just invite them to the party. Don't just bring them to the table. Kevin, you showed us how to do this. Don't just bring them to the table because they're different and that's just the right thing to do. But teach them the dance moves. Teach them the rules. Make them comfortable. Include them when they are at the table. That's the message that I came to deliver today. The question, shall we dance? All of us together. That's the story of my life. People taught me the moves. They taught me the dance steps. They taught me that growing up. They taught me in college. They embraced me at AT&T and said, I know this environment is different for you. We're going to show you the moves, teach you the dance steps, and one step better, we're going to even accept your dance and accept your own moves and your own music. So that's what I ask you to do. Go and teach somebody else how to dance. Barb, I have something for you. Thank you for your leadership. Is Kevin's jersey in here too? Kevin, come here, man. I got something, and when he gets back from Slovenia, he will sign his authentic jersey for you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both for your leadership. Thank you for being people who understand diversity and inclusion, people who understand how to invite people to the party, and how to teach them to dance. God bless you both. Okay.
Well, I think that's the first time I've seen Rotarians dance like that. I have to tell you, we've got some soul. We're all right.
Oh, yeah.
Sam, we're going to donate a book to the McShann Elementary School, which is located right over here in Vickery Meadows, in your honor. It'll be put in the library. It is an elementary school that I think, if I remember the number right, I believe has 30 different languages spoken on campus. So, yeah, it's great. I know we've run over. Thank you. Would you be willing to take a few questions? That's up to you. I know we've run over. We're right here. But if you do have work commitments you need to leave, you're certainly excused. You can have a seat if you have a couple questions, and then we will adjourn the meeting.
Any questions?
What's next for the Mavs? Hopefully a championship. Okay, we're building around Luca. We have a great team, and obviously we have to bring in a new general manager. Mark has hired a search firm to do that, and now we have to bring in a new head coach. But the team is, they're excited. And I mean, both of these departures were, they were okay. They were okay. These gentlemen, they want to see something great for the Mavs. And so they're going to help us. I mean, they're going to help us build what's next. So a championship is what's next. Go Mavs, because, you know, I come to win, okay? I come to win. That's the story of my life. We got to win. We just have a great team, and we have a great owner.
Hey, since on the way in here, we saw the press release that Dirk was announced as a special assistant to the organization. What's his role in the future there?
And in fact, Mark talked to me about this morning. Dirk and Mike Finley and Keith Grant, some of the ones who are already on the basketball operations side, they're going to just continue to help keep things moving until we can fill both of those positions. Because we have to have, you know, people in there who know it, they know the guys, they know the drill, and so for Dirk to be willing to help out, and you know, they've all been, some of them, they've been together before, Mike Finley, Dirk, all those guys, so they're back together, but kind of on the operations side, kind of off the court, yes. We do a lot of stuff off the court and on the court. Okay, one more question. Okay. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Juneteenth, actually, it's one, I'm glad you asked that. Juneteenth is one of 3 social justice holidays that we actually have at the Mavs. We give our employees Martin Luther King Day off. We give them Juneteenth, which is tomorrow, June 19th, and also Federal Election Day. And these are days where we ask them to go out and serve, what you're all about. Go out and serve. It's not a day off. It's still a day on, but go out and serve and try to do something in the area of social justice and promoting equity, equality, and justice for all of us. Juneteenth, of course, represents the day when this federal, what is it, soldier or general or whatever showed up in Galveston to basically tell the people in Texas that slavery had ended 2 years prior. 2 years prior, and I think it had ended in, what was it, 1863, and so this is June 1865, where he had to let the people know the word hadn't traveled to Texas, that slavery had ended. And so that's what it represents. It represents the emancipation of slavery. It represents freedom. It represents what that flag represents. All of us free and all of us working together. So that's why we celebrate Juneteenth. I didn't hear that much about it when I grew up in California. Obviously, California wasn't a slave state. But then I moved to North Carolina. I started hearing a little bit about it. And then I moved to Dallas, and people started talking about Juneteenth. I said, I got to dig into this. Because first of all, it just seemed like people are celebrating. I like fun. I like celebrating. But it also seems like it had a deeper meaning. So that's what it represents, the emancipation of slavery and all of us coming together. Thank you. Thanks for that question.
Well, thank you very much, CYNT. That was wonderful and fun. Next week's meeting, President-elect Happy is right there. We are going to pass the baton and pass the pen. It's going to be a lot of fun. Her year starts July 1st, and so we will not be in this room. We will be at the Park Cities Club, and so it'll be a really special event, and I look forward to filling the room just like we filled the room today. If you would, Natalie, I'm going to ask you back to the... Oh, she had to leave. All right. Well, in that case, I would be proud to lead you all in the 4-way test. It's going to be on the screen. Of the things we think, say, and do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will build goodwill and better friendships. And fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned. There you go. Have a good weekend.